All right, so today we're going to be looking at Marxist perspectives on modern society, technology, and well-being. So, a lot of people out there might ask, why are Karl Marx and Marxist thoughts so popular with academics? It's a question you can find on Quora. It's phrased exactly like that, but there are many different variations on that question. So, Karl Marx and Marxist thought have remained influential in academia for several reasons. For one thing, there's a historical significance. Marx's ideas, particularly those laid out in works like the Communist Manifesto and Das Kapital, played a crucial role in shaping modern political, economic, and social thought. His analysis of capitalism, class struggle, and historical materialism provided a framework for understanding societal dynamics that continues to be relevant. And there's interdisciplinary relevance. Marxist theory spans multiple disciplines, including sociology, economics, political science, history, literature, and cultural studies, of course, though it would be unfair and inaccurate to label every university or college as, quote, Karl Marx University, unquote, which some people seem to do. You know, when I went to college, it certainly wasn't all about that. And you can find those perspectives there, but you can also find non Marxist perspectives that are explored at the standard university. But anyway, its broad applicability allows scholars from various fields to engage with Marxist ideas in their research and analysis, especially regarding perceived injustice. And, another key component would be the critique of capitalism. Marx's critique of capitalism remains pertinent in today's world, particularly in the face of ongoing debates about economic inequality, exploitation, alienation, and the social and environmental costs of capitalist production. So those are some reasons why people still seek out Marxist perspectives on modern society. And, when it comes to technology and well-being, there can be some interesting things that could be discussed as well. I sometimes delve into the complexities of modern society on this podcast and explore the intersections of technology, well-being, and, community development, or whatever you want to call it. So today I'm diving into a topic that's increasingly pertinent in our rapidly evolving world. How can we harness technology to meet future needs while safeguarding human well-being? Because obviously we do live in a high-tech society. I recently read a thought-provoking observation from a Pew Research Center article titled Concerns About the Future of People's Well-Being. It highlights the paradoxical nature of technological advancement, once hailed as a beacon of progress, now often viewed with skepticism due to its potential negative impacts. And while not all of those negative impacts are just potential, they are actually seen in the real world, of course. So, as the article notes, technologies that were once seen as liberating forces, at least, in the popular imagination, they have been repurposed for surveillance, manipulation, and addiction. And as Jello Biafra, the former singer of the Dead Kennedys, once noted in one of his spoken word tracks, the labor-saving devices that were promoted way back in the 1950s as potentially revolutionary have actually not been that effective in reducing, the cultural dependence on work and the almost ideological servitude that standard American has when it comes to you have to work, you have to get a paycheck, you have to find an employer, you have to have a landlord, all that kind of stuff. And it seems like people are working harder and getting less. That's what Jello Biafra had observed. And I don't think that's far off the mark. It's like we're being artificially made dependent on, capitalism, despite the fact that people probably don't need to be as dependent on it anymore. We have automation, we have entire industries that are basically going the way of the dodo bird. So where does this sort of forced independence, or this forced dependence, come from? Richard Salz, a principal engineer at Akamai Technologies, aptly summarizes the sentiment, expressing concerns over the increasing isolation, lack of focus, and susceptibility to deception in our digital age. That's one of the things we've definitely seen in recent years. It's potentially getting worse under AI. I don't want to be an anti-AI alarmist or anything like that, but there is a danger of that technology being severely misused and being used to manipulate and brainwash people and just deceive them generally. So these concerns aren't confined to affluent societies. They resonate globally, even in developing economies where poverty and marginalization persist more glaringly. The United Nations defines a health system as a structure aimed at improving health while being responsive to people's needs and financially equitable. That all sounds out fine and good. However, the question arises, how do we reconcile the promise of technology and innovation to exploit, manipulate, and otherwise harm with the imperative to prioritize human well-being and community development? Because there is definitely a tendency that's been very obvious within the past decade or so to use technology that definitely could have been liberating to actually make people more oppressed and actually make them not only easier to exploit, but easier to commit things like genocide against. And you have the good old question of media control and domination by certain interests. I'm not going to get too much into that right now, but commercial interests will shape the agenda of the nation and of course of the political system. And there's a lot of propaganda that's really geared toward cracking the whip and keeping people in line, so to speak, with the status quo. But of course that's not enough. A lot of the tendencies nowadays are actually more about veering more into an overtly fascistic direction, an anti-democratic direction. There's a tendency to challenge elections, and not in the good way, but in the cynical authoritarian way. It's not like they're just questioning the merits of voting overall in sort of a broader philosophical and open and honest sense. No, they want to replace the democratic system with sort of a theocratic, neo-fascist, and kleptocratic system. So, to gain deeper insights, I think we should still sometimes explore the legacy of critical theories and the theories themselves, particularly those inspired by Marx and also the anarchist thinkers. What do they bring to the table philosophy-wise? While Marx's ideas have influenced numerous contemporary authors, critical theories continually evolve, challenging conventional wisdom and prompting us to question established norms. Yet as we navigate the complexities of modernity, some questions remain unanswerable, underscoring the ongoing dialogue surrounding our societal trajectory. So as we reflect on these themes, I think it's a good idea to consider the broader implications for our collective future. What role will technology play in shaping our well-being and our communities? How can we mitigate its negative effects while harnessing its potential for positive change? I think these are questions that demand our attention as we strive to build a more equitable and sustainable world. So, yeah, I probably have said similar things before here, so I apologize if it's, you know, repetition, but at the same time, I think a lot of these points bear repeating, and, hopefully we will sort of pull out of this muck and get back onto a better track than what I've seen in the past, I don't know, decade or so. Well, that's about it, and you have a wonderful day.